Hi, I'm Allison Allen, and I'm so honored to get to talk to you for a few minutes about my own life, as well as my first book, Shine, which is being published with Revell this September. I guess to put it succinctly, I've kind of always walked in the shoes of others, both as a performer and recently as a storyteller and a teacher. I went to Carnegie Mellon University as an actor, and then I found myself, luckily, on Broadway for 2 years in the Broadway revival of Grease. I like to joke that the hand jive still comes back to me in my nightmares or dreams, depending on the kind of night that it's been. After 2 years, I felt like the Lord was leading me on to a new season, so I went back home to North Carolina, where I met my blessedly tall husband. I roll at about 5'12", so I always ask God for a man with whom I could wear heels, and he answered that very spiritual prayer in my life. We moved to Franklin, Tennessee, and in that season of my life, I also worked with Women of Faith for 3 years as their dramatist, which was a joy and an incredible honor all in one. At 41, I had my second child, Luke. We call him Luke the Red, so that was a huge God surprise. And we have 2 children, Levi, who's 13, and as I've already mentioned, Luke, who's just turned 5. Yes, I'm a perimenopausal mop, so I have a hard time remembering these things. For the last 5 years, I've spent going around the country to whatever doors God opens, speaking at women's events, conferences, and retreats, some very intimate and small, and some larger and raucous. And it's just been a huge adventure with Christ, and I've loved every single minute of it. Shine is kind of my personal love letter to women in the kingdom who feel exhausted from staying in character all the time, who are ready to take off the character shoes and exchange those for the authentic calling of Christ. They're ready to step out of stories that are too small, shadows that are too dim, and they're ready to run toward the light that Jesus is offering them into these places of divine influence and risk and calling. I use the theater as a bit of a holy metaphor, and certainly use scripture as a GPS to say, look, there is no story that is as exciting as the one Jesus is inviting you to. It's time to stop being so afraid. It's time to step out, show up to the light and life Jesus is calling us to. It's time to shine. When women turn the last page of Shine, I hope they take away a boatload of things, but 3 things that spring to mind is I hope that they know that God will always make far more use of their consecrated weaknesses than he will ever make of their perfected strengths. I pray that they will find the courage to shine despite the critics, and I hope that they will truly believe that if they're facing a spiritual Goliath in their lives, the most authentic thing they can do, the bravest thing they can do, is go to war as themselves without the character shoes and watch their giants fall. I hope they learn to shine.